Welcome everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm excited to kick off our presentation with a powerful principle. Value what is scarce, despise what is common. We'll explore how understanding this can transform our perspective and actions. We'll also look at how using absence can actually increase respect and honor, tying into what we call Law 16. Over the next few slides, we'll delve into these ideas, learn practical ways to apply them, and see how they can make a real difference in our lives. So, let's get started and discover the importance of valuing scarcity and the power of absence. Too much circulation, or overexposure, can actually cause your value to decrease. The more you're seen and heard from, the more you start to appear common or ordinary. It's a bit counterintuitive, but sometimes being too present diminishes your allure. If you're already well established within a group or network, a strategic temporary withdrawal can actually make you more talked about and even more admired. People tend to value what's scarce or harder to get. That's why learning when to step back is crucial. Creating value through scarcity is a powerful principle. It makes your presence more impactful and memorable. Remember, in the overall game of influence, knowing when to be seen and when to step back can significantly boost your reputation and desirability. Let's explore the idea behind the economics of respect. Gold, as a metaphor, shows us that something is valuable because it is rare. When you withdraw your presence from others, you create what I like to call a social famine. People start to wonder where you are, talk about you, and ultimately value your return more simply because your presence is scarce. Now, this ties into the concept of the value of scarcity. The laws of economics don't just apply to money or goods, but also to social power. When you're always available, always visible, and eager to engage, your value diminishes over time. People begin to take you for granted because they assume you'll always be there. This naturally leads us to the idea of supply and demand. The more available you are, the less your presence is perceived as special or valuable. But if you can strategically create scarcity, by not always being at everyone's beck and call, you increase your social demand. So, in essence, understanding these principles helps us see how social power works and how we can use it wisely. By managing your availability, you actually amplify your influence and respect. Eventually, she grew bored and scornful. What was once a precious love, a prize she cherished, gradually turned into a burden for her. Why? Because it had become too easy to obtain. When love is always available, it can lose its value, and that's exactly what happened here. By failing to use absence, or in other words, by not giving her space or a reason to miss him, he unintentionally destroyed the respect she once had for him. Now, let's connect this to the historical example. In 12th century France, there was Sir Guillaume de Ballon, a knight so devoted to his lady that he never left her side. His constant presence, his overwhelming affection, while admirable in some ways, actually became suffocating. It's a classic case of too much of a good thing. His devotion, though sincere, ended up stifling her, and that's a key part of understanding the transgression we're discussing today, the idea of the ubiquitous lover. This example shows us that love needs balance. Too much closeness, without occasional absence or distance, can erode the respect and admiration that are vital in a relationship. It's a reminder that sometimes, stepping back can actually bring lovers closer in the long run. People begged him to return, and he eventually agreed, but only under one condition. He insisted that he be housed in a massive, fortified palace, and that he be seen by no one. This choice to become invisible transformed him from just a man into something more like a myth, a godlike figure that people could only imagine. It shows how the desire for power and mystique can elevate a person's status beyond ordinary human limits. Now, if we look at Deos's, he was a different kind of leader. He managed to unite the Medes by being a fair judge, earning their trust and respect. But here's the interesting part. Once he became indispensable, he suddenly retired, claiming he was too busy. That abrupt departure caused chaos, highlighting how fragile some leadership structures can be when they rely too heavily on one individual. Both stories remind us that power and influence can be fleeting or built on illusions. Whether it's becoming a myth by hiding away or leaving at the right moment, these stories connect to our broader theme. Leadership is complex. and its success often depends on balance and timing. The sun is most appreciated when it breaks through the clouds. You know, it's kind of like how we often don't realize the value of something until it's temporarily gone. If the sun shone 24 hours a day, we might actually start to curse its heat and take its light for granted. This metaphor really highlights how human nature works. When things are constant and always present, we stop noticing their true importance. In the context of our overall theme, it's a reminder to appreciate the good things in our lives, not just when they're suddenly missing, but consistently. So, it's about recognizing the value of what we have, rather than only appreciating it in moments of contrast or absence. When you do return from an absence, it's almost like an event in itself. Your value gets reset in people's eyes, and suddenly you command attention effortlessly. It's a powerful moment that can reshape how others see you and your role. Now, when it comes to making that comeback, don't feel the need to explain your absence. Let people fill in the gaps with their imagination. Often, their speculation will create a picture of you that's even grander than reality, which works in your favor. It adds an element of mystery and intrigue that keeps others interested and eager to see what you'll do next. Speaking of mystery, cultivating it is a strategic move. Leave before you're asked to leave. Know when to step away while you're still ahead. It's about quitting while you're on top, rather than hanging around until your welcome wears out. This approach maintains your reputation and keeps your influence intact. And remember, timing is everything. Being strategic about when you make your moves ensures your return is impactful, and your departure leaves a positive impression. Overall, these keys, making a memorable comeback, cultivating mystery, and timing your exits, are essential tools for maintaining power and influence in any setting. Let's talk about the concept of reversal and why presence is so crucial. You see, absence can actually hurt mediocre reputations, making them even weaker. But interestingly, it can also elevate those who are truly great. The key here is that, at the start, you need to be visible, present, and truly indispensable. Only when you've established that value can you consider disappearing or stepping back. If you withdraw too soon, before people recognize your worth, you'll risk being forgotten completely. This law only works in your favor if you've already earned respect and demonstrated your importance. So, the main takeaway is, establish your value first ***. Once you've built that strong foundation of respect and recognition, then you have the freedom to pull back strategically. This approach aligns perfectly with the overall theme of creating influence by understanding when to be present and when to step away. And now, let's take a moment to acknowledge the sources of the images we've used throughout this presentation. First, we have the striking silhouette of the misty road, which comes from stockcake.com. You can see the URL on the screen if you'd like to explore more visuals like this. Next, there's the powerful image of the throne in light, also sourced from stockcake.com, highlighting themes of authority and illumination. Moving on, we have a captivating portrait from storylt.com, which adds depth and cultural context to our discussion. Lastly, I want to point out the awe-inspiring image of nature's eclipse, again from stockcake.com, illustrating the dramatic and transformative power of natural phenomena. These sources are vital because they give credit to the creators and remind us of the importance of sourcing visuals ethically. Remember, visuals are a key part of storytelling. They help us connect emotionally and reinforce the key ideas we've explored today.